Here is a number that the bright folks at Quantico do not like to advertise. Their own behavioral analysts found that people with an average of 47 apps on their phone make decisions that are on average 23% worse than those with a streamlined device. We're not talking about choosing the wrong brand of coffee. We're talking about critical errors in judgment concerning finances, relationships, and personal safety. The reason they don't want you to know about it is because it reveals a universal vulnerability, one that's being exploited on a massive scale, not by foreign agents, but by the very device you're likely holding in your hand right now. You check that phone on average 96 times a day. Let that sink in. Nearly 100 times you voluntarily break your own concentration. Each time you glance at a notification, a text, or an email, your brain doesn't just switch tasks and switch back cleanly. It leaves behind a sticky, invisible film of mental clutter. Psychologists have a name for it: attention residue. I have a simpler name for it: a self-inflicted wound. This residue accumulates, creating a persistent mental fog. That feeling of being scattered, of having a thought on the tip of your tongue but being unable to grasp it. That isn't a sign of aging. It's not random. It's engineered. Let me tell you about a man I consulted for. A high-level executive we'll call Frank. Frank was convinced he had early-onset Alzheimer's. He was forgetting key details in meetings, misplacing important documents, and felt a constant humming anxiety he couldn't shake. His doctors ran every test in the book, all negative. His firm was ready to force him into early retirement. They brought me in to assess the situation, to see if there was some external pressure or blackmail involved. I spent one day with Frank. I didn't need any longer. His phone buzzed, chimed, or lit up 287 times in 8 hours. He was living in a state of perpetual interruption. His brain wasn't failing, it was drowning. He hadn't lost his mind, he had given it away piece by piece to a chorus of meaningless alerts. Tech companies spend billions hiring neuroscientists to make their apps as addictive as a casino slot machine. They know that every ping triggers a tiny dopamine hit in your brain, a little reward that keeps you coming back. But here's the part they leave out of the user manual. The residue from that constant engagement is systematically degrading your ability to think. Dr. Sophie Leroy, a brilliant mind out of the University of Washington, proved this scientifically. She showed that when you switch from one task to another, say, from a report you rereading to a breaking news alert, part of your cognitive horsepower stays stuck on the task you just left. It's like having 12 browser tabs open in your mind, all at once. Each one siphons off a little bit of your mental energy. The average person today switches between different apps or websites every 19 seconds. 19. Your brain never ever gets the chance to fully engage, to drop into a state of deep focus. You're living your entire professional and personal life in a state of partial attention. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? That's not a memory problem. That's an attention residue problem. You were likely thinking about something else, prompted by your phone right before you got up. That residue sabotaged your intention. Frank wasn't losing his mind. He was just a victim of 1,000 digital paper cuts. We didn't get him a new doctor. We got him a new relationship with his phone. The fog started to lift in less than a week. What about you? How many browser tabs are open in your mind right now? This state of partial attention does more than just make you forgetful. It cripples your ability to make sound judgments. A psychologist named Barry Schwartz published a groundbreaking book called The Paradox of Choice. The core idea is simple, yet it's something most people refuse to believe. More choices don't make us happier or more effective. They make us miserable and paralyzed. Your phone is the ultimate engine of choice overload. Which app should you open? Which of the 30 notifications deserves your attention first? Which news story, which email, which social media rabbit hole should you dive down? By 10 o'clock in the morning, you've already been forced to make hundreds of these trivial micro decisions. This creates a state known as decision fatigue. Your willpower and your ability to make rational, high-quality decisions is a finite resource. It's like a muscle. If you spend all morning doing hundreds of tiny, pointless reps, by the time you need to lift something heavy, like making a critical business decision or navigating a difficult conversation with a loved one, your muscle is exhausted, you're spent. In my former line of work, we used this principle against suspects all the time. It's a classic interrogation tactic. You don't just ask the big question. You overwhelm them. You control their environment and flood them with meaningless choices. Do you want coffee? Or maybe some tea? I've got water soda too. Black? Cream? 1 sugar or 2? Do you want to sit here, or would you be more comfortable in the other chair? Should we turn the light up or down? None of it matters. It's a deliberate strategy to exhaust their decision-making capacity. By the time we get to the important questions, the ones about the evidence, the timeline, the alibi, their brain is too tired to put up a strong defense. They get sloppy. They make mistakes. Your phone is running this exact same interrogation playbook on you every single day, and you are willingly participating in it. This brings us to a concept I call digital dominance. In an interrogation room, the power dynamic is everything. I control the environment. I control the flow of information. I decide when the suspect gets a glass of water or sees a piece of evidence. This control is what allows me to guide the situation to its desired outcome. Now ask yourself, who is in control of your digital environment? That device in your pocket has established dominance over you. It dictates your emotional state with a news alert. It dictates your social validation with a like. It dictates where you place your attention with a buzz in your pocket. You may think you are the master, but if you can't sit in a waiting room for 5 minutes without that compulsive itch to pull it out and start scrolling, then you are not in charge. The machine is. I once worked on a case involving a corporate whistleblower we'll call Maria. To keep her safe before the trial, we had to put her in a secure location with a strict no digital devices policy. For the first 10 days, she was a mess. Agitated, anxious, constantly pacing. She was experiencing withdrawal, same as any addict. But then something remarkable happened. Around week 3, she changed. She became calmer, more present. Her thoughts were clearer, her conversation more linear and insightful. She started reading books deeply. She told me she felt like her brain had been defragmented. Maria hadn't just escaped a physical threat, she had been liberated from digital servitude. She had broken the cycle of digital dominance and, in doing so, rediscovered her own mind. When was the last time you truly felt in command of your own attention for an entire day? Be honest with yourself. If the answer is, I don't know, then it's time to shift the power dynamic. So, how do you break free? How do you shift the power dynamic and reclaim your mental territory? That's a fantasy. This is about strategy. It's about taking deliberate tactical steps to reestablish control over your environment. We call it sanitizing the environment. You can do this in the next 5 minutes. The first step is the app audit, but I prefer to call it the purge. I want you to pick up your phone right now. Unlock it, and I want you to delete every single application you have not actively used in the last 7 days. Don't think about it. Don't rationalize. Don't tell yourself, well, I might need this app to identify constellations one night, or this was expensive, I should keep it. This is not a debate. It's a command. If an app is not a mission-critical tool you have used in the last 168 hours, it is dead weight. It's a source of notifications, a drain on your battery, and a contributor to choice overload. It is a potential entry point for distraction. Get rid of it. You are not a digital archivist. You are an operator, and operators travel light. Be ruthless. The hesitation you feel is the addiction talking, trying to convince you to keep your options open. Remember what we know about choice. Those options are making you weaker. Delete. Step 2 is the notification purge. I call this going dark. Go into your phone's settings right now. Find the notifications panel. I want you to turn off all of them, every single one. Banners, badges, sounds, all of it. The only exceptions are incoming phone calls and text messages from your contacts. That's it. No email notifications, no social media notifications, no breaking news alerts, nothing. Every single ping, buzz, or red dot is a psychological hijacking. It's a corporation's attempt to pull your attention away from your life and into their ecosystem. Think of it this way. Would you allow a random stranger to walk into your office and tap you on the shoulder every 90 seconds just to tell you something of little to no importance? You would have them thrown out. Yet, you allow your phone to do this to you hundreds of times a day. This isn't about being unreachable, it's about being unchainable. You will check your email when you decide to. You will look at social media when you choose to. You are reclaiming control of the timeline. The initial feeling might be anxiety, the fear of missing out. I promise you, you are not missing anything important. What you are gaining is far more valuable, your own mind. The third and final step is designing your focus environment, or as I call it, fortifying your position. Your phone's home screen is your mental command center. Look at it right now. Is it a minefield of distracting, brightly colored icons, or is it a clean, sterile toolkit? You need to make it the latter. Keep only essential, utility-based apps on your main home screen. Your calendar, your maps, your camera, your notes. Things that are tools, not traps. Everything else, especially social media, news apps, and games, must be moved off the home screen. Bury them inside a folder. Then move that folder to the very last page of your apps. Add friction. Make it take 3 or 4 swipes and a tap to get to the things that waste your time. I had a client, a brilliant surgeon, who put his social media apps into a folder he named Poison. That little bit of psychological framing was enough to make him pause and question his impulse every time he went to open them. This isn't about willpower, it's about smart environmental design. You are making it easy to do what you want to do, focus, and hard to do what you do not want to do, get distracted. Your environment will always beat your willpower, so change the environment. When you take these 3 steps, the purge, going dark, and fortifying your position, you are not just organizing a device. You are fundamentally rewiring your brain. 3 critical things begin to happen almost immediately. First, your prefrontal cortex, which is essentially the CEO of your brain responsible for planning, logic, and self-control, can finally do its job. Imagine a chief of police who is forced to respond to every single false fire alarm in the city. He never has time to investigate the real crimes. The constant notifications are those false alarms. When you silence them, you free up the chief to focus on what's actually important. Your thinking becomes clearer, more strategic, and less reactive. Second, you activate what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is a state your brain enters when it's at rest, not focused on any specific external task. It's the brain state associated with creativity, self-reflection, and long-term planning. It's where your best, most innovative ideas come from. It's the aha moment you have in the shower. You cannot access this state if you are constantly bombarding your brain with external stimuli. Every moment of boredom you cure by looking at your phone is a moment you rob yourself of potential insight. Silence isn't empty space. It's the fertile ground where deep thinking occurs. By decluttering your digital life, you give your mind the space it needs to do its most profound work. Third, you begin to break the dopamine addiction cycle. Tech companies have successfully turned billions of us into Pavlov's dogs. The notification bell rings, and we instinctively reach for the phone, anticipating a small reward, a like, a message, a piece of news. By removing the triggers, the pings, and the badges, you start to starve the addiction. Your brain's reward system begins to reset. It stops craving the cheap, easy hits of digital validation and starts to once again find satisfaction in real, earned achievement. Finishing a difficult project, having an uninterrupted conversation, or simply reading a book for an hour. All right, no more talk. Time for action. We're going to do a 3-minute drill. I want you to do this now. I'll wait. Minute 1. Pick up your phone. Delete 5 apps you haven't used in the last week. Don't hesitate. Just do it. Minute 2. Go to your settings. Turn off all notifications except for phone calls and text messages. Be ruthless. Minute 3. Move every social media app you have into a single folder. Name that folder Time Wasters or The Void. Now move that folder to the very last page of your phone. Done? Good. In 24 hours, you'll notice a sharper focus. In a week, you'll sleep better and feel less anxious. In a month, you'll look back and wonder how you ever functioned in that state of constant digital chaos. This isn't about productivity hacks. This is about reclaiming your mental sovereignty. You're not just organizing a phone, you're rewiring your brain for clarity and success. If you want to master the invisible scripts and psychological levers that control your daily life, hit that subscribe button. And if this information was useful to you, smash that like button. It tells the algorithm to show this to more people who need to break free from digital overwhelm. Next week, we're going to talk about temptation. I'm going to reveal the psychological reason why some people can resist anything, while others cave instantly. I'll tell you right now, it has almost nothing to do with willpower.